Hello Ace, this is RetroTK2 and today we're doing something I'd say completely different, but it's still to do with game development, and today we're going to make a Pokemon Rom Hack. Now, Pokemon Rom Hacks are, usually they'll be a lot bigger projects, but this one I'm going to try, I've got an idea in mind and we'll certainly see how we get on. With this first episode, it's just going to be basically setting up, downloading the software, or at least some of the software that we'll need. The actual episodes themselves for this series they're going to be a lot more freeform, certainly compared to the C# videos that I usually do. So there's no script, it's just me and just developing, so we'll see how we get on. But first things first, what are we going to need? First thing we're going to need is a program called Advanced Map. Advanced Map is fairly easy to find. It's going to allow us to actually extract the data from our ROM. I kind of want to say it's something like that. We're going to be able to go through and take out all the all the map tiles and all the scripts associated with those maps and change them ourselves. So this program is pretty much a must-have. If you don't have it, then you're in deep trouble. So yeah, now for obvious reasons, I can't unfortunately link you. So I will be able to link you to Advanced Map, but I won't be able to link you to the emulator and the Pokemon ROM for obvious reasons, yes. But okay, so you've extracted, so hopefully by now, oh, what a shambles. Okay, so the actual format is in a .7z zip format. I gotta be honest with you, yes, you can use 7-zip if you want to actually extract it. I personally use a program called WinRAR. Again, I'll also link this in the description, but usually type in quick search into Google. Usually it's the first link, and then from there go and choose whichever language you want. That's the best one for me. Now, admittedly, you should be buying WinRAR. Now, admittedly, I haven't. I'm still on the trial version. But any sort of commercial projects that you do with it, you should technically be buying it. And yeah, well, I haven't and should. Let's put it that way. So, okay, we have extracted our Hack ROM Tools program. I'm going to put everything in just this Pokemon Rom Hack folder. So I'm going to take this out and paste it in here and just call this Advanced Map. I might actually make this our main project folder, so I'm also going to create I'm just going to sort of make this our root, and then I would actually really like to put this on Git, make it a source, make it certainly version controlled. The unfortunate thing is that I'm really not sure if I can do that in terms of legally, because the ROMs themselves, the actual data is all saved to the ROM, which is a bit of an issue. I'm not really sure how we're going to do that. It would be cool if we could extract all the data from the ROM and then version control that, keep all that up there so that there isn't technically a playable ROM, although we are using all of Nintendo's assets or Game Freak's assets. But at least then we could, or at least then I could have it so that it was more the configuration for the ROM that was being saved as opposed to the actual assets themselves, so that all you guys would have to do is plug in an actual ROM for the Pokemon ROM and then carry on. But well, we'll see how we get on. So as I said before, I won't be able to give you the link to Fire Red, unfortunately, but I'd say shop around. You should be able to find it fairly easily, and there's a number of different websites that'll allow you to do it, pretty much. So the emulator we're also going to be using, you can type in emulator GBA, and I mean, personally, the one I go for is the Emulator Zone and the Visual Boy, but by all means, do whichever one you want this. Again, I can't put them in the description, but you know where to go, and yeah, pretty much that's about it. Fairly easy, just extract it into your downloads folder, and you've pretty much got it. Just take the exe and shoot the breeze. So let's put this in with I'm just going to call this ROM, I think. Call it ROM, fire in the Visual Boy Advanced, and then get our Pokemon Red. wherever you've saved that on your disk, Ace, or wherever you've saved that on your actual computer. Okay, so once you've downloaded your Pokemon Fire Red version or Leaf Green version, I believe it should all work the same. It's the same game, and the only thing that's different is the sprites and all the titles and stuff. I believe it is exactly the same game, to be honest. So yeah. I usually, now whenever I've been messing around with the actual advanced map, really the only thing that I've been doing is having a vanilla copy of the game and then also creating a hacked version of the game. This is another thing that I really don't like, because with version control we would get all of the stuff backed up nicely, and we would be able to go back if we create a mistake. With this stuff, you don't really get that. The only way to really do it is to actually back up the main ROM, which I really do not like. Isn't that incredible as well? The fact that the GBA of Pokemon is only 17 megabyte. I think I've made Word documents that have been bigger than that is. Jeez. Anyway, yes, absolutely. So I'm a wee bit annoyed about that, we'll say. But anyway, so what? Let's get stuck in. So I'm also going to just take these out and actually put them in their own little folder as opposed to this folder within a folder thing. And then if you click on Advanced Map, it should all just start up. Now, because I've got two screens, as you can see, there's a nice bit of clipping going on, but I don't believe that will affect this. And then you can just set it up. So yeah, we want to do that. Let's bring over the licensing agreement. So you're allowed to use this program. You're allowed to use the direct link. You're not allowed to duplicate this file on any other web space, fair enough. You're not allowed to sell this program, and you're not allowed to claim indemnity if the usage of this program does any damage. Standard stuff is. I don't think there's anything legal here, or it's just basically the devs trying to cover their back. And there we are, we are into the advanced map. I'm going to get rid of the shortcut. So this is it. This is probably the main program that we're going to be using. There's another scripting program that I haven't actually looked at yet because, well, we haven't done any scripting yet, so it's not really that important just yet. But let's go to the desktop, and let's go to the desktop. Pokemon Rom Hack, the ROM, the hacked version. So go to your actual version of the ROM that you actually want to edit, essentially is what we're doing here. Click on where that file is located and click open, of course. We've all done this by now, yes, and you'll see that it'll load in these test maps. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not really sure about them. There's a couple from the INI and a couple of header. Now, you can go, really the way that I sort of do it, this is to sort the actual map. The way that I do it is just sort map by name. And then from there, you've got you've got definitely map locations that we are all very much familiar with. If you haven't played Pokemon, don't worry too much about it. We'll be going through, I don't think you necessarily need to understand the game inside and out. I know I certainly don't. I've got basic understanding of Pokemon. I've completed the game, let's put it that way, but there's a lot of things people talk about, IVs and EVs. These are effort points, and I must admit now it's a new dimension of the game that I really don't understand that much about. But I think in order to edit the game, we won't necessarily need to do that. We won't need to necessarily worry about that. So this is more geared towards a developer, but if you're a fan of Pokemon, there's no reason why you can't watch this. I mean, I'm a fan of Pokemon, so I won't be necessarily nerding out on Pokemon. It'll be more nerding out on the dev side of things. But I mean, I will try and keep it as fun as I possibly can for Pokemon players, of course. But certainly the methodology I've got for this is development first and then Pokemon second, the actual game itself second, if that makes sense. Yeah, whatever, who knows. Anyway, we're in Palatine, and as you can see, there is, well, the entirety of Palatine. That is the famous Palatine. There's Oak's Place and there's inside Oak's Place. So if you click on any of these at the side, any of these icons, I guess, it'll bring up a new tile, or a new map or whatever. Now, admittedly, this is really small for me. Now, this is only 16 by 16 pixels, I believe. No, it's 32 by 30. It's either 16 by 16 or 32 by 32. I believe it's 16 by 16. That looks like 16 by 16. But if we head up to here and go to settings, viewing size, you can go to double map view size and look at that. Isn't that fantastic? So yeah, pretty much that's where we're at now. So for our actual project, I am going to go on to something called Trello. Now I don't know if you've ever used Trello before. If any of you have done any sort of project work, then chances are you've used Trello or something like that, Jira, any sort of development work that requires you to complete tasks or to shoot for deadlines. You've used some sort of task manager system. Trello's free. It's owned by a company called Atlassian, which is the ones that make SourceTree. If any of you know about that, they also make Bitbucket as well. It wasn't always owned by them. I think it was only just bought recently this year, to be honest. So, which is really strange because they also own Jira as well, but that's a totally different topic. But so it's interesting that they've actually bought it. It'll be interesting to see as well if they actually do keep it free. But anyway, I won't necessarily be going too much into Trello on this. I mean, we will pop back and forth from it, of course, but it won't necessarily, I mean, the whole tutorial, it's about creating a Pokemon Rom Hack. It's not about creating this, but you'll get to sort of see the way that we're going, certainly the way that I organize my project. So MVP here stands for minimum viable product, which is the absolute bare minimum that we can get away with and have a release project. This is common, I would say, in game development. So basically all that other fancy stuff that you usually do, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if, I can't even make an example, wouldn't it be cool if Brock could create an Onyx that also could spawn Charizard? Yeah, that would be awesome. But it's not required for the core mechanics of the game. This is the absolute bare minimum that we can get away with in order to have a shippable project, or product, essentially is. So, but having said that, I don't know. Whether or not this is a good way to organize the project, I'm not sure. This has worked for me in the past, let's put it that way. Active is going to be our active tasks that we are trying to complete, and we'll also have a backlog. A backlog of things that are really good in the head, but unfortunately don't necessarily go into the MVP. So to the backlog, we are going to put in, well, let me tell you about the actual idea that I have here. Okay, so I want to create a Pokemon game that is about the gym leaders. I'm not sure if there already exists a ROM hack like this. I did some searching on the internet and couldn't find it. Doesn't mean to say it doesn't exist, of course. It's just I couldn't necessarily find it. And what I mean is I want it to be that you can play as Brock, play as Misty, play as Giovanni, play as possibly even Lance as well, and work your way up through them. So you go from Brock to Misty. The actual mechanics themselves, like how there's going to be level progression, I'm not sure about. I've got a couple of ideas in my mind. Really the way that I'm thinking about it is that a gym leader would be sort of like, if you've ever played Roller Coaster Tycoon, the missions in that, the way that they sort of work based on a time-based mission. So at the end of year 3, you have to have a park rating of 700, or you have to have so much in the bank, or a park rating of whatever. Something like that. So maybe there might be a gym leader rating mechanic, like sort of how other trainers are rating your gym. Maybe, floating around with this idea. Certainly money is one that we can definitely do because we'll be able to use the actual in-game player's account. As for actual time being transferred, I'm not 100% sure how we're going to do that. It'd be cool if we could actually do it based on a timer, but I don't believe the GameBoy Advance has any sort of timing. But we could use, there's an actual part in the game called the Safari Zone. And inside the Safari Zone, the way it does, it's a time-based, I want to say mini-game, time-based section of the game. And really the way that the devs make it time-based is by how many steps you're allowed to take in terms of the actual grid. You can also turn on the grid by going to Settings, Grid, and there you go, there's a grid. So basically one step would be 1, and then in the actual Safari Zone there's about, I believe, 400 steps. So that's the way that works. I personally don't necessarily like the grid, so I'm going to just turn that off. But, so yeah, that's where I'm sort of thinking about that. So after a set number of steps, then it would take away money for gym upkeep. I mean, I've got it in my head that I kind of wanted to make it so that you can actually expand your gym, and maybe even like find other different ways that you can make money, sort of like the daycare center. So you could have Brock going around and actually like training other people's Pokemon, but then it has to be rock Pokemon, because I kind of wanted to make it so that, a gym leader should only be seen with his Pokemon, and if you don't, then you get fined or whatever. And the game's over, of course, whenever you hit 0 on your money or whatever. Something like that. We'll see. I don't even know if any of this is possible. But to get us started, I kind of was thinking that, well, the gym leaders themselves can only have their own badges. They won't have anybody else's badges. So if they don't have their own badges, that means they can't use HMs. HMs in the games, for people who don't actually know, in Pokemon, there's these special abilities called HMs that can only be unlocked if you, one, teach the actual HM to a Pokemon as a move, and two, if you actually have the associated badge that is required for that HM. Thing is, with Brock, he won't be able to get that, and if we want him carrying on to different sections of the maps, we need him to find a way of getting around. So one of the ways that I was floating with, at least in my head, was to have all the gyms connected by like a sort of secret section, so that Brock can warp to any other gym on the map. So that Lance from the Elite Four says, yep, we need to have a good way for people to get there, and so on and so forth. So first port of call, I think, would be finding a way to warp to different sections of the map. So we'll put warp to sections on the map. And this will be an overarching sort of pretty big thing. And we are going to create a checklist, and we're going to call this tasks. First ones to do is just to research it. Research and have a play, pretty much. Find out exactly what it is. Now, I must admit, yes, I have done actually a little bit of playing around with the advanced map, so I have a fair idea of how to actually make this mechanic work, which is great, because it means that it can actually be done not exactly in the way that I thought it would have been, but we'll certainly go with this. So research and play, maybe even setting up I might have to branch this out, but it's okay. Just even to get it down on, I want to say get down on paper, but even just to get this stuff down is good. So set up a secret hideout. So basically the secret hideout will be a way for the actual gym leaders to get in. So they can access this hideout and then teleport to all the different gym locations. So they teleport to the secret hideout and all the different gym locations, and then are able to exit from there. I think that's the way to do it. Again, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work out. But this is certainly good, because then we're gonna have to add in a new map to the game, and it would be cool actually, yeah, if we could add tiles into the game as well and save them. I'm not really sure if we can do that, but let's just take it as slow as we possibly can. So, research and have a play around, and yeah, pretty much just find a way to do it. That seems like an okay, good start. So this will be our active, and from there we will go. I kind of want to say find out if you can use steps as an event. Again, it's just putting this stuff in there anyway. So a lot of all the information that I've got so far has pretty much just been from YouTubers online. So pretty much just Pokemon Rom Hacks, GBA, and anybody that comes up is getting a good old-fashioned editor, maybe. John Vitmod has also been a guy that I've been looking at quite a bit. His series is particularly very good. Only 2 episodes, which is a shame, but the content is absolutely brilliant. Another one, trying to look for her, but I can't find her at the minute. Jack's Tutorials. I believe he was pretty darn good, yeah. Jack's tutorials. All of these are in the actual description, yes, as well, so you can definitely have a wee check of them as well. I can't unfortunately find the one that I watched off Jack, but certainly check out Jack, I guess. And okay, yeah, there we go. Aspiring Pokemon Trainer is very good. He's not, I believe it's a guy, I'm not really sure. His tutorials are exceptionally good, very, very good, very detailed. The only issue is that he doesn't appear on camera, unfortunately. It's all text based, but very, very, very good. Certainly the content is very, very, it's just very good. Yeah, he even talks about how to actually edit the Oaks introduction. So yeah, he's very, very good. I can't find her, for goodness sakes. What was it? Gamer Girl 64, I believe was her name. Video Game Girl 64 again. These videos are about 4 years old, so yeah, I mean, possibly a lot of the stuff is outdated, but very, very good. She goes through it, and I don't believe she's a programmer herself, so certainly if you're finding yours truly a little bit too in-depth going, certainly speaking, whenever we get onto the scripting, it will probably be a little bit more programmery based, but I want to say brings it from more of a, I don't want to say artistic perspective, but more not necessarily getting down and dirty with the code. It's more just the surface level stuff. It's like, well, this is pretty much what I know. This is all you'll need to know. So yeah, very, very good YouTuber there. So definitely check out these guys. Yeah, definitely helped me get started anyway. For what that's worth. So yeah. So this is a good place to start, and it will certainly be where we go to in the next episode. So yeah, rate, comment, and subscribe, yes. Hope you like the setup for this actual series. We'll see how we get on. If the views aren't in it, yes, we can abandon it, and I'll just go back to doing solely C# videos and the occasional Let's Play, of course. You can email me at retrotk2@gmail.com to tell me what you think of this project. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video.